Hello, my people. ¿Qué pasa, mi gente? Welcome. Bienvenidos to another episode, otro episodio de Hoy En Día TV. I'm your host and producer, Yessie Rodriguez, bringing on to the stage my two amazing co-hosts. We have author, entrepreneur Nadine Barton, yes, and author, entrepreneur, and a doctor, Dr. T. Andrew Actionist. How are y'all, lovelies?
We are doing well. Happy Thursday.
Yes, happy Thursday already. I feel like the year's already flying by. Like, right, we're at 416 already. I'm like, oh goodness, what happened?
Who are you telling? I was just saying that today to my friend earlier, how the time's flying by so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you ladies are right. It's moving and grooving. I was sitting back and was like, how am I being productive? In the second quarter, did good things in the first quarter and looking forward to do greater things, right, in the second and just, keeping that mindset and pushing on. So hope everybody else out there is too.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up because I was looking at some fun discussion topics for us to talk about today. In addition to bringing on another amazing guest that we have, but just having too much in your head, like we have so much going on, whether it be with our day to day, with our families, goals we're trying to accomplish, like you just shared, and that does create stress, anxiety, and sometimes we might accidentally forget something, right? And so it happens to the best of us. Um, and so giving yourself grace is definitely important to understand that you're human and not everything is going to be perfect, right? You may want to be a superhero, but at the end of the day, we're not superheroes. So what do y'all thoughts about that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we are not superheroes, so that's why I put everything in the calendar on my phone so I won't forget.
Mm-hmm. Right. And even with social media, a lot of times when we look at people's videos or pictures, it can kind of be, deceiving because it makes it look like everything is picture perfect for many, organized or thriving, which I'm sure they are, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't know about or don't understand, right?
But
There's
here,
a lot of things that need to give up, whether it be time or energy or resources to make things happen and push through the day to day.
but here's the thing: people are not going to put the negative on social media. I mean, just like how I always say, like, when you do all these things, like especially for us entrepreneurs, and they see all the good things on the forefront, I always say my word, and I always say is that people, they see the glory but they don't know the story. They see the good things, and think that you're on here living your best life or making all this money and you're rich and you the boss and you this and that, but they don't know what you have to go through to get where you're at today. You don't know it. They don't know if you're struggling behind the scenes. They don't know anything. So people, they're not going to put the negative on social media. I mean, if I'm going through something, I'm not going to put negativity on social media.
Right.
Sis, and I concur, to a degree. I really wish that people would share, not saying share all of your life, right? But to share some of the hard moments, right, that you have in life. So people can see you, that you're balanced, there's good, there's bad, there's ugly. And I
Mhm.
think that it would encourage and be an inspiration to many, right? To see, like, you beautiful people like you, like Yessie, right? Making your dream happen, making it come alive, right? And doing all the things that you do. You're absolutely right. Like, they don't know what goes on in the background and all the hard works that it takes and the no's that you get, right? Or some of the rooms that you're not allowed to enter into. And so I think it would be so much. I don't think I know, with life, just being life, like us, we're sisters, and we're having a hard time, we talk. You know what I'm saying? Every day is not peaches and cream. You know what I'm saying? There's some things right now going on behind the scenes that the audience may not know. But I think that, if we share those moments, it just shows our humanness, right? And I believe that people will be able to relate and also respect. But again, you got to be careful of the things that you share, because some people do want to gloat in your misery per se.
Exactly.
But as long as you're coming from a place of humility and honesty, and just truth, you know what I'm saying? I believe that could really bless people.
Because people don't like to be critiqued, and they don't want the negative kickback, so it's the reason why they don't, for the most part, put what they're going through negatively, yeah, on social media.
Right, right. And also looking at it, I was kind of what's that when you zoom out from everything that you have in life, the chaos and everything that can come about, and then you look to see it's actually a blessing in disguise, right? Because it's like one, God is tasking you with all these different things that God knows you can handle. It's that old saying, God doesn't give you more than you can handle, right? And so sometimes, yes, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like you're tired and you're like, why? But let's change the narrative a little bit. Let's look at it from the other side to say, God gave me this task or this challenge for a reason. I'm capable and I'm able to do it, and I will overcome it regardless of what it is. It could be a good challenge or a bad challenge, however you perceive it, but it's also about the mindset as well and keeping that positive mindset. Do you all disagree?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And so for
1000%. That was a pass around the offering plate. Okay, that was great.
Thanks. So, have you all heard the term soft life? And if you have, because I haven't heard of it until I did some research, what does the soft life actually look like? Because I've never heard of it. So if you all have heard of what soft life is, enlighten me, please.
I've heard of it because I've seen these creators on Instagram talking about they're living the soft life, I guess. From my perspective, from what I've seen, and that's the only time I've heard about it, is the soft life. I guess they have all this money or they have a man taking care of them and they're traveling to all these places and showing the places where they've been and the luxury life that they're living, the cars they're driving, and basically living a soft life without any stress, anything negative in their lives. We might just like, perfect example, the creator, and it's sad to talk about it because she just recently died, the creator that got killed in Tanzania. Her and her husband, Caucasian guy, she's from Miami, young looking girl. So if you look it up on Instagram, it's all over. I'm surprised you guys haven't heard about it.
No.
She got killed. They got in an argument. I mean, she's living this soft life on social media, look like she's very happy. So I don't know what the story is, if she was going to leave him or whatever. So he had just proposed to her in Tanzania and they were there. So they got into a terrible fight. And the staff had to separate them, put them in separate room. But then she ended up dying, or they said that she hung herself, which was weird. You look up that story about the young girl that got killed in Tanzania and you will see what I'm talking about. So it was,
Yeah, I heard about that. I saw that yesterday on the news. It was actually on mainstream news.
yeah.
Beautiful girl, beautiful girl. And the parents, they want to get copies of video surveillance, to kind of see what's going on. But that term, that soft life, that cushy life, again, it could just be smoke and mirrors. Because even the rich and famous, right, we would say that they have a soft life, right? Because money, people define soft life and easiness by
Having money.
they measure it by money, right? Your wealth and things of that nature. And that's not necessarily it, because we see every day, that celebrities are committing suicide, they are on drugs, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to deal. So this whole term soft life, I think it's just a trick. I think it's just another catchy kind of word that they're trying to get people to buy in, because we know that life's for every single person on the face of the planet. Yeah, some has a little bit easier, and they can afford certain things and kind of live a little more comfortably. But you know what I'm saying? Everybody at some point in time, keep living. The hard times will come, and the soft life won't be so soft. And especially, when you're going through in your mental and your emotional, right? That makes life very difficult, no matter how much money, no matter how many friends, no matter what it appears to be. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely got to take that in consideration. But I have heard of that term as well.
Yeah, so money doesn't buy happiness. So from what I just looked up, soft life, it said it's a modern lifestyle term that basically means choosing peace, ease, and intentional living over struggle, stress, and burnout. It
Okay.
started trending on social media, especially amongst Black women creators, and has grown into a broader mindset. What it really means, a soft life is about protecting your energy and living comfortably, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Core ideas behind a soft life: less stress on purpose, boundaries, financial ease for working toward it, self care without apology, healthy relationships only, And with each subtopic they have like a little bit of explanation, like health, relationships only, no toxic connection, choosing ease over hustle culture, you're not glorifying struggle, real life examples, leaving a draining job instead of pushing through misery, not arguing with people who bring negativity. And that's me, because I decided I'm not gonna argue with anybody.
Right.
Deuces. Investing in things that make your life easier, services, routine, support. What it is not. It is not being lazy. It's not avoiding responsibility. It's not unrealistic luxury 24/7. So I think they got the idea or the meaning of soft life misconstrued with, the luxury, lavish lifestyle. The real meaning is what I'm reading. So given where, yeah, so it's actually about being smart and your energy and designing a life that feels good to live without.
And I love that we
without-
do that here. Yeah, I love that we do that here on Hoy En Día, is to do the research and to put it out there so people can know the truth, because they're thinking of, the lap luxury, all the, money, money, money and all that. And it's not, So I thank you for sharing that. That was very educational, informational.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. That was awesome, because that actually leads into our guest who's patiently waiting for us behind the scenes. This guest, she is a planner. Well, she loves all things like journaling and planning, and she creates that with her business. And why I bring that up is because being intentional, being based on what you just shared, Nadine, about protecting your energy, journaling can help a lot of people with that process, right? Especially like deciding, okay, do I want to focus on this or that or this? And kind of putting your thoughts into paper, right? So that is, I'm glad that you brought that up. And before I transition into our sponsor and bring on our guest, any last words, comments, or anything else you all want to share or bring up?
Yeah, I'm glad, because I do a lot of journaling. I have so many books and journals because I create journals as well. So I do a lot of journaling myself.
That is awesome. Yes. Well, ma'am, you should start selling your journals too.
Oh, they'll be coming with me this weekend. So
okay, that's right, because we have the We Don't Wait, We Create event happening in Raleigh, North Carolina this Saturday, 4/18. So guess what? Don't be left behind. I mean, we're going to have more, but this one is going to be really dope because we're going to be there, of course. And we're going to be there, I'm sure, in every other one too. But come on now, Saturday, right? 3 to 8 p.m. All right, let's jump over to a quick sponsor break before we bring on our guests. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Hoy En Día TV.
A bold builder of people, purpose, and platforms, Girls with Gigs helps high performers and those desiring to achieve more shift mindsets and activate purpose. Whether it's career or leadership development, personal branding, or knowing your worth, in the job market, transformation has never been closer, because this is where purpose meets action and dreams become destiny. Book your free consultation today at www.girlswithgigs.com.
Dream, explore, discover with Nadine's Travel Oasis. Your next adventure is just the booking away. From breathtaking beaches to vibrant cityscapes, we handle the details so you can make the memories. Luxury, leisure, or last-minute getaways, we've got you covered. Book today and let Nadine's Travel Oasis take you places.
Are you looking for the perfect shirt for that special occasion? At Collective Custom Wear, we bring your vision to life. From weddings, family reunions, anniversaries, or casual outing with friends, express yourself with your unique style and leave a memorable mark. Order now. Our custom shirts are designed just for you.
That's right. So for those who are still trying to find their purpose, it is A-OK, because we do have Dr. Cece, the actionist, here to help you with Girls with Gigs and Inspire for Purpose. So definitely reach out to her, knock at her door, and she will be happy to help you. Also, spring and summer is knocking at our door. Actually, spring is already here, I believe, right? As of what, the 20th? Oh gosh, I gotta look at the calendar. But anywho, so yes, travel time is pretty much why I'm bringing that up. I'm sure a lot of people would love to travel during this time, especially exploring the world. And thankfully, TSA is back to normal. Yay. Because yeah, when I was hearing about those stories about TSA, I was like, I don't know about travel, but they're back to normal. So that's a good thing. And you can reach out to Nadine with Travel Oasis, and she can get you hooked up with some amazing trips. So if you have something on the bucket list, or if you have a birthday trip that you want to plan, start early, right? And she'll get you aligned Also, custom shirts, whether it's an anniversary, a birthday, a family gathering. Look at these shirts. Yes, Collective Custom Wear has you covered. So definitely reach out to me or Collective Custom Wear. We got you hooked up. So,
And they're very comfortable, I might add.
And there's different options too, like whether t-shirts or bodysuits. So hey, I prefer bodysuits and I love bodysuits. T-shirts are great too. So definitely good options. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on our guest. I'm going to introduce her real quick. So this week on Hoy En Día, we're sitting down with Leni Hernandez, a wife, a mom, and a creative force behind LGM PaperStudios, a handmade stationery brand designed for those who want structure without the overwhelm. If you've ever felt like life is just moving too fast, like a mile a minute, this conversation is for you. Through her beautifully crafted planners and bookmarkers and curated gift sets, Leni is helping people turn everyday chaos into the calm, clarity, and intention that it's supposed to be. But what makes her story truly special is her journey behind it all. While working a full-time job and raising her family, she's building her business from ground up, sharing the real, unfiltered side of entrepreneurship. Okay, that's it. That's important. The highs, the lows, the challenges, the beauty of it, right? And what it really takes to stay consistent and show up even when it's not convenient. Her mission is simple yet powerful: to make planning feel cozy, doable, and something that you can actually stick with. So without further ado, we're going to bring on Leni Hernandez to Hoy En Día TV. Welcome. Bienvenida. You're on mute, my dear.
Hi. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hello, welcome, Leni.
Thank you.
Yes, we're truly excited for you to join us. Thank you. Thank you. So I always love to launch the show with the $1 million question here is your bio is very robust and it tells us a beautifully articulated background of who you are. But in a nutshell, who do you say you are?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a mom. That's my number one thing. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I'm also just a normal 39-year-old that has lived life to its fullest, but also had some, trials and tribulations along the way. But that doesn't really define, it's not like a struggle story. I've come up from it. So that's pretty much who I am. I have a lot.
That is awesome. Sorry, y'all. I'm having like a mild cough. Nadine, can you ask?
You okay?
I took her breath away, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So while Yesie's getting her thoughts together, let me ask you, Leni, that's welcome again to the show. So I want to ask, it says, you're balancing motherhood, a full-time job, right? And a business. What does your real unfiltered daily routine actually looks like?
Well, it can be chaotic sometimes. Every day is definitely different, especially when you have a toddler. And especially if you're, almost 40 years old and you have a toddler. So before, I used to thrive and I used to take a lot of pride on being someone who was very organized. My day would go exactly how I planned it. I would check everything off. I'd be like, okay, I feel very accomplished. I got everything off of my to-do list. Mm-hmm. That definitely changed very quickly. The household chores. I mean, let's talk about 9 to 5 work already. Let's talk about adding a toddler, being a wife, trying to keep up with like your social circles and everything, then trying to have your like me time if you can. So yeah, I mean, I used to go ahead and thrive on that, but now it's every day is completely different. And it's just, I don't know. So that's why I went ahead and I started the planning to kind of keep me a little bit more grounded than the way that I used to enjoy my planning before.
Right. They say moms are superwomen. You know what I mean? So kudos to you.
We try, it's hard. It's definitely hard, especially when you feel you have a lot on your shoulders. And it's not necessarily that your spouse may require it, your family requires it, or your friends require it. But sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, right? Absolutely. We do it ourselves. So that's sometimes we can be our own enemies with it, at least for me. So
I definitely agree with that. Thank you for that answer. I have one more question. So is it, what was the moment you realized you needed more structure in your own life, and how did that turn into the LGM Paper Studios?
When I started, let's see here. I started looking around me and I started seeing like, okay, what's my next chapter? I'm married. I have a great social circle. I have a great family support, and I'm a mom now. So like, what's next for Leni? You know, what else can she do? I've always dipped my toes in creative things. As Yessie knows, we've known each other for over 20 years. It's crazy, but I've done a lot of different things. But I literally was like, how can I show my son or show my niece and my nephews? How can I show them that you can get up every day, still do things that you have to do, right? Like cleaning or doing your errands. That's all boring stuff. Going to a regular job because you got to keep the lights on, right? But kind of being like, kind of showing them, you know, there's a lot more out there. Go after your goals, do it. And you may fail, and that's okay. But as long as you tried, and they those, you know, those little see you, they look up to you. So kind of just being like a positive influence. And that literally was something that I truly thought of, how will my son, my niece, and my nephews kind of look at their Titi Leni or their mommy and be like, what did she do? You know, my spouse, she's amazing. She's been at the company 25 years. She DJs. She's like super cool, super fun, right? And I'm just like, all right, I'm mom. So I kind of wanted something a little bit more fun than that. So
Right. Absolutely. You wouldn't know if you don't try, right?
right,
I mean,
yeah.
as an entrepreneur, we have to try and keep on working and moving on different things until it works. Never give up. You have to be consistent.
And it's hard putting yourself out there. You know, it is hard to put yourself out there, to make the content, to go ahead and talk about yourself, to talk about the things that you're passionate about, to go ahead and, you know, even when I make videos and stuff, it's just like, oh God, it's so cringy. You know what I mean? But it's just like, whatever, you got to get it out there somehow, you know?
I know. I absolutely know. Yes, he knows. I don't like to put videos out there.
It's hard. It's hard, you know?
Yeah.
You
Right.
said you create journals. That's awesome. That's amazing. We don't have our journal line yet, so me and you can go ahead and get together. But
Right.
you know, you get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's all the question I have for now. Yes, CRCC.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll put it over to Stacey. And sorry, y'all, about earlier. I had the cough came out of nowhere. You know what it is? It's the pollen. Let me know.
Right.
Right.
Now, Leni doesn't know, but Leni, since I lived in North Carolina, the pollen has been kicking my tail.
Oh my gosh.
And sadly, we've entered pollen season. And I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm here trying to talk, and I'm like, So I
Right.
apologize.
No, you're
for this
fine.
call.
No, it's okay, Yessie.
Yeah.
So, Stacey, go ahead and if you have any questions for our guest before I ask mine.
Yeah, we're so glad that you're okay. Thank God for that. That pollen, I know these allergies, y'all, these hay fever or something else. But it's calming down a little bit. So happy about that. So I love that, you know, you're organized, that you plan, that you're structured, because that's my life, right? People always ask me like, hey, were you like that? You know, did the military make you that way? I've always been like that. Even from like a little kid, I just need to have things in order, you know, because it just makes life easier. I can breathe easier. It's hard to go into a space that's all messy and cluttered. I'm just like, you know, and so you definitely got to have that. Was this just like something that you've always kind of had in you? I know you said like before, like, you know, you would, you know, get your to-do list done and all that kind of stuff, but was it just kind of always in you, you know, from the very beginning? Like, I just need to have things in order and plan and structure and that kind of thing. And my second question is, what are some tips that you can give to those people that aren't so, right? To help them plan and make life a little bit easier?
Yeah. So I've definitely always been one that has enjoyed my list, my honeydew list, any list. And it will be I grew up with like lists on the back of an envelope, lists on junk mail, all of that. You know what I mean? So I've always been one. If I felt that my brain was a little bit chaotic or my mind was really busy, writing stuff down for me, whether I was going to get it done or not, just was like a release for me. So I did always carry planners around with me, but there would be planners that sometimes they kind of ask too much, right? We want to be asked questions, but sometimes it's like, it's too busy. I don't need another task, right? I don't want to feel like I have homework and it's just something else added to my plate. So yes, I've always been one that always had a planner with me, and I've always really kind of enjoyed that. Whether it was true or not, I always felt that being a little bit in control of my list and kind of highlighting things off or crossing it off, I'd be like, you know what? I feel good. I feel accomplished. So, whether it be change a light bulb or go ahead and wash the dish, the dishes from last night or whatever it is, small, big, I'll put some ridiculous stuff on my list that I'm like, okay, I know I'm not going to finish that by this weekend, but it made me feel good to go ahead and write it down. So yeah, I mean, I've always kind of strived on that. As far as tips, one of the great things about my planners that I created is kind of like it's supposed to be a no pressure planner. I used to thrive on a lot of pressure. I would set these high goals for myself all the time. And I would somehow just be like, you know what? It would just be like a race against myself. Once I had our kid and life just kind of moves on and the days change, those kind of took a back seat. I don't have the control that I used to before on things to get done. I really don't. As much as I try to, you just don't. And I would find myself kind of disappointed sometimes. And my wife would be like, why are you like stressing out about this? That's okay that you didn't get to Home Depot to get whatever tools you needed for whatever project you wanted to do. You don't need to get it done. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and create a planner for those that don't want that added pressure, because that's literally how I feel. I don't want extra things to do, but I want to open something up. I want to go ahead and write things down, make me feel good. And that's it. Done and done. So, I definitely am huge on pen to paper is kind of a great way to kind of connect with yourself sometimes. The world is busy. Social media is busy. There's so many things going on. Sometimes having some quiet time with yourself, reading a book, looking in your planner, and not having 1,000,001 questions that it's asking you, but just kind of filling things out. What worked for me this month? What didn't work for me this month? Maybe I don't want to fill any of that out. What is a brain dump? What's something I want to let go of? So those are just some great things that I have in my planner that, I like. And what I always like to tell people, just start with 3 things. It can be weekly, it can be daily, it can be monthly. Who cares? Just start with 3 things that you want to go ahead and get done. It can be big or small. And that's it. It can be fill up my gas tank on full, on Wednesday or something. Something small like that. But you need to get it done and you'll feel good about it.
I love having those small wins built into, planners and things of that nature. I am a journal planner, all that kind of stuff. I go through these like different fetishes. It was like watches, and then it was like shoes, and then purses, and now it's coffee mugs and planner. I saw like a social media thing yesterday, and the wife came home and she was like, "Oh, there's a sale on journals," and the husband just starts pulling out all her journals. It's like a table full of journals are like falling on the floor. There's planners, there's everything. It was so funny. And I was like, "OMG, that's me," But I love a good planner, and I just love it. So I really commend you on doing the work and really trying to help people get organized. And I love what you said about, putting some of those little things in there, because it makes a big difference. It makes a huge win. I've been, at my schooling for the past few years, and it was very, very, very stressful. And I just had time for nothing. And even some of my classmates, they were telling their spouses like, look, while I'm in this program, I'm not a dad. I'm not a husband. I'm not going to do it, because you had to really focus on school, right? Because it's really tough. And I was just like, I can't do that. Like, I can't do that. And I'm much like you in the way of challenging myself. Like I'm always challenging myself, pushing myself against the clock, doing all of those things and feeling good. And then like, what's the next big thing? And I found like, hey, this isn't very healthy. And it's really stressing me out.
It stresses you out. It really does.
So in my everyday to do now, people say, put 3 things on your list. I put 2 things on my list because of the 2 things I can, hopefully get those 2 things done. And if I don't, I've come to a place to be like, hey, okay, it'll roll over until tomorrow. So I love the fact that you have these planners that are out there, that you structured them in a way to help people know that it's okay, right? If you don't achieve the next thing on the list. And so I just want to commend you for that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And it's honestly all based on, I like to be intentional and I like to live and do things by experience. I don't like to just say, hey, you know what? You need to do this, but I never tried it. I just never like that. I don't like when people give me advice like that. One other quick thing I wanted to go ahead and mention in my planner is that in my planner, I have in the back of the section, it's called Good Things That Are Happening to Me. Mental health is huge. Awareness on mental health is huge. Men, women, kids, everybody needs it, Yeah. You would be surprised on how many times just writing down in your planner in this section that I created here, just writing down, what is it that was great that you did, that you felt that happened to you, And there's no set date. It's not there every day. It's not there weekly or monthly. It's in the back. You can write in it whenever you'd like, And it can be the smallest things. On mine, I got my nails done. That's probably something that a lot of people do every 2 weeks. They're just like, oh, that's just a part of me. Me getting that done, I was happy. It made me feel good, But a positive mindset, I feel, definitely attracts more of a positive life. And we're all trying.
Absolutely. You getting your nails done, you feel like a different person. It's just like me. When I feel so dirty if my car is not washed. When my car is clean, I feel so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Me too. I love that. Yes. I want to peel the onion, so to speak, peel the layers, because I love what you're sharing, especially with the whole mental health and just what's speaking to me is just being gentle with yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So do you remember the moment in time within your life when you felt that you needed that and you started journaling and you had the aha moment to say, "Ooh, I should turn this into a business. Let me go ahead and start doing this for others," right? Like, what was the aha moment? Like, walk us through what happened, how you felt, and what gave you the aha pivotal moment to say, I need to help others with this process.
Yeah, well, a couple of years ago, I would say, like, after COVID, we, just like the rest of the world, right? It was like this weird spot. It was like everything was opening up. I'm like, I do want to be social, but I don't. I kind of like that I kind of slowed down a little bit because we had so many things going on all the time. So COVID kind of like, it was uncomfortable at first, but then we kind of settled down a little bit. But then my mental health for some reason started to like decline a little bit. And I would go ahead and I would just think like negative thoughts or have like negative thoughts. And I'm like, what is happening here? I generally don't get like that, So I started waking up every day and I was like, you know what? I feel like I need like a refresh. I need like a reset. And one thing that appealed to me was I would see that a lot of women would go ahead and do solo traveling. And I was so scared of doing that. But it really intrigued me. And I was like, you know what? What a great thing to go ahead, rent a spot for myself for 2 weeks. And this is before having our baby, of course. Now I can't even be like a day without him, but this is way before that. But I just felt like I needed like a reset from all of that. I said, I want to do some yoga on the beach, stuff that I don't do in Wisconsin, of course. I want to do things that what Leni likes, what Leni wants to do. Even if it's nothing, I want to watch the TV shows I want to watch or not, read books I want to read, And so I kind of did that solo trip. I loved it. It was scary at first, but it was just my own fears of just used to being around with people all the time or whoever, But then it kind of gave me like a new aha. And that's when I said earlier, like, what does Leni want? So a couple years later, we started talking about building our family. That was number one. We did that. That was great. And then, recently my wife was just like, Well, why don't you start your planners? You're always talking about it. You love telling people about your planners. You always have different ones. People are always asking you about budgeting tips because we do have that in there as well. They're always asking you like, oh, how can I be more organized, or asking you for different advice on things, And I was like, you know what? You're right. Maybe I'll create a little one. I'll create a small one, and then I'll get it out and then see if that takes. Well, I ended up creating a planner that works for me, which is a 7x9, which is huge, that people generally don't start with that right away. But again, we challenge ourselves. So that pretty much was my aha moment. It was just, I've gone through that. And when I was talking about the good things that are happening to me, I did that. I literally forced myself, as cheesy as it sounded, I got myself out of those negative thoughts, and I got myself with a better mindset. So I'm a huge believer in that. And sometimes we may look at our lives and we're like, God, it just sucks. Nothing works out. Nothing works for me. Right. And that can be true. But sometimes if you focus on the little things, you can look back and be like, you know what? Maybe my life is not the worst after all.
Mindset. I love that you shared that. And thank you for sharing that aha moment. Yes. And putting it into perspective. And why I ask that question is because a lot of people do find themselves in a similar situation, right? But what I love about what you did is that you realized you knew yourself enough to say, I'm not going to stay here. I got to figure this out. And you did. You overcame your fears. And that's so amazing. And that's like a challenge I want to pose to the viewers and listeners today is if you are feeling similar to what Leni just shared, challenge yourself to think in a positive, different manner, right? Do something positive that'll help you come out of whatever it is that you're feeling, that negative funk, and turn that negative to a positive, right? So thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful for sure. And it sounds like overall you have really good support from your spouse and your family, because that's another factor that a lot of people tend to affect people is the lack of support. But it sounds like in your situation, you do have the support where they're pushing you to say, hey, why not this? Why not that? And you're pushing yourself too. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you have to. Who else is going to push you? Right. And there's times where I may be like, you know what? I feel like nobody's supporting. We kind of get that way because we look at what support should look like. That's not really how it works. Right. Support can be something easy by my wife taking our toddler away so I can be on this podcast. Right. That's support. Right. It looks in so many different ways.
And it's not always monetary, like, money. It could be just sharing a post or telling somebody about your business. People think that support is, oh, I got to buy her books. I got to do
this. Right. Just talking to me about my planning, saying, hey, girl, I've seen your little content video. I'm like, thank you so much. It took me like 2 hours, but it's a 30-second TikTok thing. Thank you. I feel the appreciation. So yeah.
There you go. Exactly. And you had mentioned something too before Yessie had spoken. You had said something about, things are, aren't working out for me or whatever. But, in retrospect, we always think like sometimes when something is going down, we just speak negatively on our life. Like, oh my God, why is this not working out? So I've started, because, I've done a lot of affirmations and stuff. So I started doing more affirmations and started speaking more positively. Like every day you should say, things are always working out for me. Yes. Things are always working out for me. And just keep saying that, whether it is or not. Nobody knows but you, but just keep speaking positively on your life.
It seriously, I'm not kidding. Like sometimes your mind, you will send yourself down a rabbit hole. You really will. I almost got to the point where I was going to start writing lipstick on the mirrors and saying things, but I was like, okay, my wife would probably be like, what the heck? Are you losing your mind? Right. But I was listening to positive podcasts. I was trying to do whatever I could. And it's like that little voice you have. Just be gentle with yourself, give yourself grace, give yourself your you time, set time out for yourself sometimes, it goes a long way.
Absolutely. I agree. I don't have the lipstick, but I do have little notes on my mirror.
Right. Eyeliner, whatever.
You be cleaning too much with the lipstick thing, so you just get a piece of paper and put it on the mirror.
That's true. Right? Yeah, lipstick's too expensive. That's true. Right.
Also, just want to give a quick shout out to the viewers and listeners. We have Mom Darcy Hunter said yes. Shout out. She said good evening, ladies.
Darcy.
And we also have Shell Hernandez. That's your sister-in-law, right?
Yeah.
Love my especially the savings pages, super helpful for a spender like me. Thank you, LGM PaperStudios. That is awesome. I love that. Yes.
She does love her spending, but yes, yeah.
Now, Leni, I've seen many of your posts and your videos, but you do more than just planners, and you do like walk us through what other products you have that you do. Yeah, you do
so
more.
I do. Yeah. I started off actually with gift tags for presents because I always love like making my presents like really cute and kind of adding some cute things to it. So I actually started with gift tags, and that took off. That soared, and that was amazing. And then that kind of got me in like the creative space and kind of feeling some confident, right? I had to start off small. And then I also do magnetic bookmarks too. So I have magnetic bookmarks. We put together, I've done some stickers too, especially around the Super Bowl. You know, I've done some Puerto Rican stickers, and you don't really see a lot of those. So yeah, I'm just having so much fun with it. Sometimes I don't have the most time to work on all of, a lot more designs I have in my head than actually executing it. But yes, so gift tags, planners, magnetic bookmarks. It's called like a cozy planning set, a gift set that we put together. And I know one of you mentioned water bottles. We have water bottle because I love water bottles. It actually holds your phone on there. We have some positive affirmation, like gift tags that I actually made. One of them says taking care of my mental health, and the other one says positive mind is a positive life. So it's just like a fun little like gift set that you would receive to kind of make you feel good. And they're all my favorite things. So I love things like that.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And it's great too. I'm really happy that you were able to join us because it really aligns with the motto for Hoy En Día. That is our goal with each and every episode, is to positively motivate, educate, inspire, enlighten, and entertain, of course, because we don't want to bore people, right? The viewers and listeners with each and every episode. And with you, your business, and who you are is just really aligned with that. So I'm just truly, truly grateful that you were able to join us today, too.
Thank you.
And also, I wanted to ask a follow-up question, too. How do you protect your peace while you're juggling so much, right? Like, sometimes it can get overwhelming, but how do you do it? What do you do to protect your peace?
Sometimes it looks different other times, right? Sometimes I'll go for a nice drive, put some music on, get some ice cream, just kind of, sometimes it depends what the chaos is. Sometimes I really do enjoy is dimming the lights down, having my podcast playing, or like I definitely love listening to summer jazz. If you've never heard of it, summer jazz, R&B, softer, calmer music. I'll go ahead and put that on. I have my favorite PJ sets that I love to go ahead and put on, put my favorite lotion on. That's literally the definition of me protecting my energy and just kind of just quietness. I'll put on some low stimulating shows for the little one if he's there, and just chilling out and just relaxing like that, and that really helps. I just planned our family trip. That literally I did that. I had everything dimmed, had my favorite PJs on, and I was like, all right, where do we want to go? What do we want to do? After you mentioned the TSA thing, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going anywhere with that. But once they said that it was better, then, it's just, you got to protect your peace and you got to protect yourself. If you don't do that, if you just give it out to anybody out there, whoever, you would be surprised how much damaging some other people's energies can be. I'm a huge believer in that. So take your time for yourself, sit down, write some things out, rather you journal, rather you want to write some, plan your week out, plan your days out, rather you want to highlight little piggy banks that you save some money, rather you want to write what good things are happening to you, reflect on your month, whatever it is. That's literally how I picture myself, like protecting my peace.
Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Cece or Nadine, any additional questions for our guest?
Yes, one more question. So what advice would you give to someone who has an idea but keeps waiting for the perfect time to start?
Just do it. It will never, the perfect time will never be there. Just do it, honestly.
Facts. Just like Nike, just do it.
Just do it. Seriously. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
go ahead. Don't worry about the judgment. Don't worry about what people say. What doesn't even matter. If you are passionate about it, you love it, go ahead and do it. You'll find your community out there that loves it. You'll find your people that will align. Seriously.
Exactly.
Yep.
There's a community for every single thing out here. There's a community for everything. If you're
There
a new,
is.
there's a community for that.
Okay.
If you're a singer, there's a community. There's a community for everything, you know.
Yep.
So like I always tell people, the time when you stop caring about what other people has to say, then you will start writing your books and share your story. Because if I was holding on to that and not, you know, initially there's a little inclination of, oh my God, my family, what are they going to say about my books or whatever? I wouldn't have written my books. You just have to just move forward and don't care about what anybody has to say.
Right. And it's hard sometimes, you know, we'll be our biggest judgment. Our families will be our biggest judgment. And sometimes one little comment can really send you down.
Exactly.
And it's going to happen, but you get back up and you just try again. That's it.
Absolutely. Or, you know, just find somebody, a friend like, you know, Dr. Cece here, who inspired my purpose and helped me start writing. So,
yeah, exactly. You have to get your confidence back, you know?
Right. Okay. Sometimes you just need a little push and to get you where you need to be. You know what I mean?
Hang around with the right people. You can hear something bad and they may send you down. Then you know what? You call a different girlfriend up the next day and be like, you know what? I get good energy from her. Let's go have some drinks or whatever. And you'll get, you know, revitalized again. So
exactly. Yeah. Yep. Thank you for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. No, you've been just an absolute joy. Glad that you have put it into action, right? To provide a tangible resource and a tool, you know, for people all over. And hopefully, you know, people will use this as a tool to help grow them, to get them clear, to get them more organized and structured, and just to be the best, you know, person that they can be. So it's been lovely having you on the show. I didn't have any other questions, but I just wanted to thank you personally just for being on the show. This was really amazing.
Thank you, ladies, so much. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It was fun.
That is so sweet. Well, we're not done yet with you, ma'am. Not just yet, because we do have our last minute work segment. So this is an opportunity for you to share, remind people who you are, your business, where they can find you, follow you, if they want to purchase journals, or I'm sorry, planners, because you said journals are coming. So planners, you said gift tags as well, right?
Yeah, gift tags, magnetic bookmarks.
You shared earlier that you offer, remind the viewers and listeners on how to do that. But so you can get an idea of how that works. I'm going to have Nadine start us off. We'll have Cece go next. You'll go third, and I'll close out with the remaining sponsors.
Perfect.
All right. So as you know, my name is Nadine Barton, Nadine the author. You could find me on Instagram at Nadia B, NADIAB _1202 on Instagram. And if you'd like to get a copy of any of my books or journals or whatever the case is, just go to Nadine Barton, just like you see my name on the screen, NadineBarton.com. And also if you need body butters or if you like to book that trip, just hit me up. And like I always say, life is 10% of what happened to you and 90% of how you react. So treat people kind.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, hey, I'm your girl, Sandra, the Actionist with Inspire for Purpose. And you can find me on the World Wide Web at inspireforpurpose.com or girlswithgigs.com to learn more about me and the services that I provide. And as I always like to say, love and light and inspire for purpose.
Awesome. Well, I'm Leni Hernandez, and you can definitely go ahead and find my Etsy shop on Etsy.com. You just type in LGM PaperStudio. I'll go ahead and pop up right there. Otherwise, I am also on the socials, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, all of it. You name it. I'm on all of them. And yeah, you know, you'll be able to order there or DM me, and it'll be great.
That is a beautiful. Yes, thank you all. I want to give a shout out again, like I always do, to my amazing co-host. I just absolutely adore Nadine and Cece. They're just wonderful souls, and I just thank God each and every day for them to help me with Hoy En Día, and just their energy, their aura, their positivity is just, oh, it's beautiful. Also, Leni, thank you so much for being our guest here on Hoy En Día TV today. And I know this is not the only time. We're definitely going to bring you back for another, part 2, because I'm sure at that point you're going to have your planners, or no, journaling. See, I get it confused. Sorry, y'all.
That's okay.
I'm blaming it on the pollen. All right, I'm blaming it on the pollen. But yes. So also, let's go on a quick sponsor break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Hoy En Día TV. Okay, don't go anywhere.
Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories. Watch Hoy En Día TV, Thursday, 7:30 p.m.
At Cab Zenza, we believe beauty is a ritual, not just a routine. Rooted in intention and inspired by nature, our skincare is crafted to nourish more than just the skin. It nourishes the spirit. Every jar is made with purpose. Because when you flourish inside, it shows on the outside. Cab Zenza's isn't skincare, soul care.
From the moment that I put this Cab Zenza on my skin, it feels most amazing. As you can see, it has your skin glistening, it's moisturizing. You too should get Cab Zenza.
Luxurious body butters.
Sponsored by Collective Wear. Available at www.yessirodriguez.com/shop and myrod-enterprise.com/shop.
Yes, shout out to our sponsors. We have Cab Zenza. As we know, the skin is the largest organ in the body, so make sure to stay hydrated, especially as we enter into the hot summer months. And Cab Zenza is going to get you right with staying hydrated. When you get out of the shower, you just rub it all on, and you don't want to walk around, a little dry skinned, like it just feels a little uncomfortable, right? So invest in Cab Zenza body butter, and I guarantee that you're going to feel great. Also, Collective Wear, shout out to our sponsor and Divine Beauty and Accessories, because you want to make sure that you look good with the accessories, right? Hey. All right. Yes. So for those who want to find me and follow me, just go, I'm going to use Cece's words, World Wide Web. Yes, I love that. And type in Yessi Rodriguez, and voila, you're going to see all my pages, social media handles, website, yessirodriguez.com. Also, for those who want to be a guest on Hoy En Día, if you have a business you want to promote, if you have an interesting conversational topic that you want to discuss, we invite you on to be our guest on hoyendiatv@gmail.com. That email is actually scrolling at the bottom of your page view. So hoyendiatv@gmail.com. In the subject line, you can type in a guest if you want to be a guest, or if you want to just chat it up with us and you say, hey, have an interesting conversation, come on in. We invite you. Welcome, open arms here. Yeah, so thank you all again for your support and for listening to us and tuning in. So we appreciate it. And like I always say, the sky is never the limit because the galaxies are endless. See you all next week. Hasta pronto.